Hello, everyone. I want to first begin by thanking everyone who was able to make it this past Thursday to our virtual discussion. I really enjoyed interacting with everyone and look forward to our future discussions. I just wanted to follow up um, and share some information around relational frame theory, particularly as it relates to that wonderful quote that I shared. Life is empty and meaningless. And for those of you who were present, you likely noticed it just evoked a lot of discussion and emotion. If you weren't there and you're listening to this right now, just sit with that for a moment. Life is empty and meaningless. And I invite you to just notice what comes up for you as far as your thoughts when you hear that. So life is empty and meaningless as it relates to relational frame theory. The two can be connected through their shared focus on the construction and interpretation of meaning. So I want those two words to be salient: construction and interpretation. So let's start with really getting aligned on what relational frame theory is. So it's a theory of language and cognition that explains how we as human beings learn and understand the world through relational networks. And RFT meaning is derived from relationships between different concepts rather than from the concepts themselves. And this relational framing allows us as human beings to generate vast and ever expanding networks of meaning from relatively simple linguistic elements. So let's start with construction of meaning. In RFT, meaning is not inherent in words or experiences. And again, let this word be salient to you, but is constructed through relational frames. So that quote, life is empty and meaningless, suggests that life itself does not have inherent meaning. And I'm inviting you to really be with that life doesn't have inherent meaning, that according to RFT, meaning is applied through the relationships and context we create around our experiences. So let's dive a little bit more into this constructing meaning with some examples. So imagine this example: individual graduates from college. In one frame, graduation might be seen as a monumental achievement. It can symbolize success and hard work and a bright future. In another frame, it might be seen as just another step in a long, uncertain journey with no guaranteed outcome. The meaning of graduation is constructed through the relational frames the individual applies. Without these frames, the event itself has no inherent meaning. So that quote, life is empty and meaningless, suggests that graduation, like life, is empty until meaning is applied through these frames. Let's do another example. So imagine someone takes a walk in the park every morning. In one frame, it could relate the walk to health and well-being and find it deeply meaningful as a part of a routine for a healthy lifestyle. Another frame might see it as a meaningless, repetitive task, just a way to pass time. The morning walk is imbued with meaning based on the individual's relational framing. The walk itself, again, is empty of inherent meaning, much like life, until the person constructs meaning through their frames. And let's talk about the arbitrary nature of meaning. RFT really highlights the arbitrary nature of the relationships we form between stimuli. And that quote aligns with this idea by really asserting that any meaning attributed to life is arbitrarily assigned by individuals. Individuals as human beings. And this aligns with the notion in RFT that meaning can change depending on the relational frame that one applies. Okay, let me provide an example of this. Just imagine a person views, or you yourself, you're viewing a piece of abstract art. One person might see the art as a profound expression of human and emotion and creativity, while another might view it as random shapes and colors with absolutely no significance. The meaning of the painting is arbitrarily assigned by the viewer's relational frames. The painting, the art, like life, is empty of inherent meaning, and so people apply their subjective interpretations. Let's take another example. Okay, let's think of the sight of a national flag. In one frame, the flag might evoke feelings of patriotism, pride, and sacrifice. In another frame, it might be seen as a symbol of oppression or conflict. The meaning attributed to the flag is arbitrarily constructed through, again, the relational frames. The flag itself doesn't carry any inherent meaning, paralleling the idea that life is empty and meaningless until we assign meaning through these arbitrary frames. So both of these examples, I think, powerfully highlight how RFT explains the construction of meaning through relational frames. I also want to talk a bit about psychological flexibility. RFT is a foundational component of what we will talk about in the quarter, acceptance and commitment therapy, which emphasizes psychological flexibility, recognizing that life, again, is empty and meaningless, can be seen as an exercise in psychological flexibility, allowing us the opportunity to really detach from rigid meanings. And it calls us to an invitation to focus on creating values and meanings that are personally significant. And finally, I want to speak a bit to contextual sensitivity. Relational frame theory emphasizes the importance of context in understanding meaning. So the quote invites a perspective that meaning is contextually dependent, suggesting that individuals have the power to create meaningful context, rather than seeking intrinsic meaning in life itself. I don't know about all of you, but I find all of this incredibly fascinating. So the quote, "Life is empty and meaningless," very much aligns with RFT by really focusing it on the fact that meaning is constructed through, again, the relational frames, and it isn't inherently present in life itself. And what does this do? This perspective really invites us to focus on how individuals create and interpret meaning through their relationships and contexts. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for your powerful participation in the discussion and for your willingness to look. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time for another fabulous virtual discussion. Have an amazing rest of your day, week. Bye-bye.